Hello, hello. Welcome back to the show. It's Christine Jewell. Listen up. Last week we were talking about sex inside of marriage, the power that sex holds over our marriage, the power to bind us together to create this unshakable bond that we can't seem to break free from, which can be a great thing if we're in a healthy relationship where we are really united, where we are equally yoked, right? We are our hearts in the same place, our spirits in the same place. We want to be united in love. That is the most beautiful thing. And that is our divine design for marriage. And it can be a horrible thing if you are bonded or bound to the wrong person, right? In a destructive relationship. Anyhow, I talked about the power of sex, how to create an unshakable bond in our marriage, how to create greater intimacy, and also how to close open doors that are getting in the way of us experiencing the fullness that God has for us inside of marriage, especially through sacred sexuality. I wanted to do a follow up episode on that. And specifically, I want to talk more deeply about passion, desire, variety, like really infusing life and that fire again, that spark in our relationship. And I also want to share some myths around what love is and what love isn't. Okay. So, first of all, I want to start by saying the number one questions, hands down, probably the number one question that I get from people reaching out to connect with me for a discovery call who are wanting to know about coaching or support is some form of this. Should I stay or should I go? Should I stay in this marriage? Are things actually going to get better or are we going to be roommates forever? Should I stay after betrayal, after trust has been broken? Maybe affairs have happened. Maybe I'm the one that did it. Maybe they're the one. Maybe we both did. And now we're like, man, is this irreparable damage? We love each other, but I don't know if we can just get past this. Or should I stay or should I go in this job, this business that I've created, this life that I've created? There's this tension often between two worlds of like the world that I created and all the good and the mess that comes with that. And then the world that I really long for, that I want to step into, that I want more of in my life. So if you're walking and breathing on this planet, you want more life. You want to feel more alive. You want to feel more on purpose, more aligned. To have unshakable relationships, unless you've been really burned and you're like, nah, not me. I'm alone on an island. And probably this podcast episode is not for you. So I'm talking to those of you who say, or maybe asking yourself that question right now. Should I stay? Should I go? How do we really reignite the fire, the passion, the love, right? That we once had or that I long to have. And so let's just start with that. First of all, I want to just debunk this whole idea that love is um, love is a feeling. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Again, what I hear a lot is, just over decades of raising kids and building a business and dealing with all the stuff, we've become great roommates, we've become great partners, but I think we've fallen out of love. Like, I love her, but I don't love her. I love him, but I'm not in love with him. You know what I mean? Have you ever caught yourself saying that? I've caught myself saying that in the past. And in the moment, if I'm honest with myself, it felt true. I felt like, sure, I love them. I love them like a brother and a sister, but I'm not in love with them. What does that even mean? Right? I think that what we think it means is that we feel the sparks, we feel the juices flowing. We're hot and heavy for each other. We've got a chemical equation happening, like fireworks are going off when we get together. Our hearts racing. We got the butterflies in our stomach, and we've got desire for each other. And there's newness and aliveness in our marriage. And I'm curious if you're listening to this, what is that for you? Right? But here's where I think it really goes sideways. Number one, so many of us are confusing what love is with feelings, with fleeting emotions, okay? Desires, excitement, uh, things getting lit up, dopamine dumps, right? We get these dopamine hits every time we get something new or something that is really sparks our interest or makes us feel great about ourselves. That's why social media is so addictive. That's why candy is so addictive. That's why things on social media that you shouldn't be looking at can be so addictive, because it's like, oh man, every time I go in there, and it could be anything from looking at something that has to do with sex, from a political thing to whatever, anything that makes you feel like better about yourself, make you feel good, make you strokes your ego, right? We get a little something from that. We get a little hit. Maybe we get a little hit of significance. Maybe we get a little hit of connection. Maybe we get a little hit of newness and variety and excitement and adventure. We get a hit. And we have to be careful of dopamine addiction in our society, because we are getting hit 24/7, bombarded with images, with invitations, with little seductive things to look at, whether it's food or whether it's sexual things or whether it's like promises of money or business success. I mean, we are constantly being stimulated from the outside. And so while this is a beautiful thing, and God created so much beauty in the world, look, I mean, just go for, I was on the weekend, I was for this epic hike, and I was getting stimulated, like the waterfall and the trees and the mountains. And like, there was so much beauty around me. We're designed to have heightened senses. Okay. We are designed to notice beauty and newness and variety. But what happens is when we are always being prodded and tapped into by these external stimuli, we start to depend on external stimuli to generate a feeling inside of us, instead of us understanding how the feeling is generated and becoming generators of those feelings that we want ourselves. Let me break it down even more. If you want to feel passion, desire, intimacy, connection, variety inside of your relationship, you can wait for something to do it for you. You can keep expecting your spouse to be the one to show up and do the things that turn you on and stimulate you and excite you, or whatever it is. Or you can expect your spouse to say the things that make you feel like a man or a woman. You can wait for somebody to pay attention to you, to notice you, to acknowledge you, to compliment you. You can wait for the next shiny thing to make you feel good about yourself for a moment, or to light you up. Or you can become a master of your emotional body. You can become a master of the territory that is your physical body. And that includes all of your neuroreceptors, your heart, right? Your gut, like all of the things that light up and turn on your brain. And you can say, you know what? I'm going to generate the emotions that I want to experience more of in my life, instead of waiting for external stimuli and things to do it for me. I'm going to state this right out the gate. When we are constantly expecting and waiting for external stimuli, it could be your spouse, it could be a thing, it could be a person, it doesn't matter, to do something inside of us, that's what's called a puppet. Okay. And I'm saying that in the most loving way, but we become a puppet waiting for the right strings to be pulled so that we can feel something. This is really dangerous, because all of a sudden, somebody who's not your spouse, or something that's not quite good or right for you or life giving to you, whether that's a substance, something you're listening to, something you're engaging in, somewhere you're going, you know, all of a sudden you can become enslaved to the thing. You can become a puppet to the thing. And all of a sudden it becomes a master of you. It starts to own your thoughts. It starts to own your heart. You can't stop thinking about it. You can't stop feeling. You can't stop obsessing. And now you're in this place of like, man, I'm missing out. I'm missing out. And all you do is you look at what you don't have and what you're missing. And y'all, I talk a lot about spiritual warfare on this show. I talk a lot about the schemes and tricks of the enemy. The enemy is here to divide and conquer, right? The enemy is here to go after our marriages, to go after our families. He wants us to be turned off from our spouse. He wants there to be division and complacency and passivity inside of marriages. He wants us distracted with outside things so that we can't operate in our spiritual authority. We can't operate in legal grounds, right? To execute on the thing God's called us to do, not when we're living in hiding, not when we're living in shame and fear and guilt. We're not going to produce the fruit of our calling and our purpose and our mission. We're not going to, not if we're hiding. It's impossible. So right now, I love you guys. If you're listening to this and you're hiding things, and you know that you're split, you've got a split maybe personality going on, you're one person over here, you're another person over there. I'm not talking about multiple personality syndrome. I'm talking about you're torn between all these different worlds. I really want to encourage you to like make the decision to get whole, to get things right on the inside, get your internal house in order. Because once you do, the things that you long for, the intimacy, the connection, the desire, the real love that is a binding agent, that power couple kind of love that creates an unstoppable force, that will come, right, as a result of your inner house being in order. So, myth number one, I wanted to address this right out the gate, is love is not a feeling. Again, I hear it all the time. Should I stay? Should I go? I'm falling out of love. All of a sudden, I don't have the heart for this anymore. I don't have the desire for this anymore. Well, guess what? It's time to rise up and decide what kind of marriage you want, decide what kind of life you want, decide what kind of lover and leader and partner you want to be, and start doing the inner work to generate the eyes, the heart, the mind, the actions, the words of someone who is in that type of relationship. Because I guarantee if you're not in it now, your thoughts have probably been wandering or fixated on what's not working. Your language has probably been complaining about what the other person isn't doing for you. Your emotions are probably sinking, right? Maybe you're feeling frustrated, discouraged, hopeless, just passive, numb, maybe apathetic. So, how do we begin to reignite this passion, this fire? I want to say this before I talk about what real love is, But often when people come and they say, my heart's not into it. I've got other things. Maybe things have been said, done, affairs have happened, or I'm feeling like I want something else. What they really often have been seeking is that sense of adventure and aliveness again. They've been living in the familiar place for so long. We are created to be infinite creative beings. We're created in the mind of God, the heart of God. He is always creating. Nothing that he does is robotic. I mean, he's faithful and he always comes through on what he says, and he's consistent. My God, is he consistent? And yet, we experience him the most fully, the most intimately, the most deeply when we are in this space of the unknown with him. Not in the familiar places, not in the places where we feel safe and we're going through the motions. You guys know what I'm talking about. Not when we're just going through the motions of whatever that is, doing your prayer, doing your devotional, doing your good deeds at church on a Sunday. If you do that, whatever the thing is, like, that's not where you meet God really intimately. That's not where you feel this closeness and fire, and you hear his word like really speaking into you, um, in ways that you just don't when you're going through the motions. Where we meet God and where we experience God fully is in the great unknown. And so it is in our relationships, I think. We are designed for the unknown. We're designed to always be exploring and discovering and growing and stretching ourselves and moving in faith. And yet we get married and we think, okay, cool. Maybe you set goals at the beginning of your marriage. Maybe you knew what you wanted to create, but somewhere along the line, you guys started to go through the same repetition, the same repertoire day after day, same conversations in the morning when you woke up, same conversations at night around the family dinner table, same date night. If you're doing date nights, probably the same restaurants, probably the same kind of movies that you watch. It's probably the same conversations you have at date night. Maybe they change a little bit, but how much novelty, how much newness, how much adventure, exploration have you been engaging in as a couple? Okay. When was the last time you did something new, fresh, exciting together that neither one of you was an expert at, but you both were going in there like, hey, we're in it together. We're going to explore. We're going to see. Let's just go see what happens. When was the last time you started a project together that was new? That wasn't just a home little, hey, let's do an addition on the house or put a pool in or buy another property because maybe we're distracting ourselves uh, by buying more stuff, but really thought about what are we passionate about as a couple? Like, what do I have a heart for? Maybe it's a heart of serving, volunteering, giving back. And when was the last time you really did that together about something that ignited something in your heart and your soul? When was the last time you contributed together to a cause that was greater than you? Here's the truth. Most affairs happen because what I see is it's not actually just a sex addiction. Yes, we need to be on guard because we are all have addictive personalities if we're on this earth and we're in this bodysuit called our bodies, because our bodies are just like receptors. We feel everything. Everything is a trigger. And if we're not careful of what we're exposing ourselves to, you can become addicted to anything: shopping, gambling, alcohol, video, sex, like pick your drug of choice. We can be addicted to people pleasing. So as I go back to that, where most affairs happen is actually when we are getting this sense of variety and connection and newness met. We haven't had a sense of adventure in a long time. I especially see this in men. I especially see this in men where it's just gotten boring. It's risky. It's exciting. It's different. It's, there's an edge to it. And ladies, I'm going to say women do it too. I've done this. Okay. Variety is like a huge need of mine. And if we don't get our need for variety and adventure and the unknown and living in that tension of just really being stretched, if we don't get that somewhere, we will get it somewhere. If we don't get it somewhere healthy, that is in alignment with God's will for us, in alignment with our purpose, we'll get that need met in destructive ways. Okay. We all have a need for variety. That's one of the human needs. How do we infuse variety into our marriage? One of the greatest reasons I see women having affairs is the need for, yes, the need for safety and security, but to feel really cherished, to feel desired and protected, to feel that she has a safe place to speak, to share her heart, to be naked and vulnerable, right? And it's funny because I hear men all the time say, "Man, I just wish you would relax. I wish you would just, I could hear her laugh again." And I'm going to tell you guys, women don't relax if they don't feel safe. I'm not talking about if they don't feel familiar, because going through the motions can be familiar and we can be quote unquote keeping the peace in a superficial way, but that's not real safety. That's pretending. That's putting on a mask. That's getting dressed up and playing the part, but that's not bearing our heart. When a woman can really know that she is emotionally safe, physically safe, and just love, like, will you love me when I'm beautiful and when I'm ugly crying? Like, will you be there for me? Will you be the structure that can hold all my, all of me? Women, I always say, like, women are like the ocean, right? A great sailor is not made in calm waters. But I wanted to circle back to that because so often I hear from men saying, "Man, I just wish you would relax. I wish you would be happy and laugh." Well, safety is a huge thing. So I see a lot of women having affairs or drifting sexually when they feel really there's a promise of, number one, yes, safety, security, but just feeling like that strength is there, that attentiveness is there, and connection. Right? Connection is one of our human needs too. So if we don't get these needs for safety and connection and variety met in healthy ways, we will find and unhealthy ways, we will compromise our values all day long. The other thing that I see a lot, and I'm just going to kind of start to shift into another gear here, is that we also see a lot of affairs happening in the workplace when you get people that are working together on a unified mission that's bigger than them. All of a sudden, it's like I am standing arms side by side with this person, and we're in the trenches and we are here to conquer something bigger. Maybe there's a huge initiative. Maybe there's a big project you're working on that is going to create massive impact for your teams, for your industry, for just the community. It doesn't matter. The thing that matters is that we have a need for growth, for contribution, for connection, to know that we are part of something bigger than us and that we're not doing it alone. And so when we see kind of these strays and we're like, how did that happen? We have to be on guard. We need to be on guard, fierce warriors and protectors of our marriage. And if we want to have an epic marriage, one that is unshakable, where there is desire and passion and connection, we need to pay attention to these things. Where are people running to, right? Do we just want to be another puppet and another number that gets caught? We just get caught off guard, and all of a sudden, before you know it, you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, and you're like, whoa, how did I get here, or how did my spouse get there? Well, I'm explaining some reasons why, and these are not. There's a lot more to this, but I just wanted to share some of the things that I've experienced in my own life and things that I've seen through coaching many clients and talking to people who are reaching out and having conversations with me. Okay, so circling back to how do we create greater passion, greater variety, a desire for each other, I want to say, like, number one, start with some variety. Start playing together again. Really, like, just start playing together again. Have a no plan Saturday. Get in the car, don't have any plans, and say, you know what? We're going to take off and have no idea where we're going. If you guys are control freaks and one of you always needs to know, like, release the need to control and just be open. That can also be like, be open to exploring, asking each other questions, go for a drive, go for a hike, go for dinner, and play a game of asking each other questions you've never asked before. Not to hear what you want to hear, not to have your ideas affirmed, but just to explore, like, who is this person that I'm married to? Because you know what? He's not the same man that he was when I married him. I'm not the same woman I was when we first got together, because we change, we evolve, we grow, right? And maybe you'll discover things like, I don't really know what excites me anymore. Well, great. Let's go play with some things and see what lights us up, right? So add some variety. Number two, think about what is bigger than us that we can go both get behind. What do we both have a heart for? Where can we go serve together? Where can we go on a mission together and get in the trenches together again? We are way too comfortable as a society. Comfort kills ambition. Comfort kills passion. And we are just so used to being comfortable. We have our big, comfy houses and our big, comfy lifestyles. We drive to the store. We could pretty much have any food we want within 15 minutes of our fingertips, any glass of wine, any steak dinner. We could book trips at the touch of our fingertips. I mean, we are wealthy in this country, and we are the sickest we've ever been, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. We're the most bankrupt country mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Did you know that? Isn't that crazy? And I'm so glad that things are turning around from a health perspective. So go serve something greater than yourself. Get a mission that you guys can both get under and submit right to, because submission is a reflection of love. Love submits, and everybody hates that word, and I used to hate it too. But the word to submit means to get under, right? You have this huge mission ahead of you. You are submitting to the greater cause, the greater one that is God, right? The greater cause that you guys are both fighting for. So you have something that's bigger than both of your ideas. You have something that's bigger than both of your individual goals. You have something that's worth fighting for, that's bigger than the little thing that you keep bickering and nagging at each other for. Okay? So I want to just give you those two things. And I want to say this last thing, is that about how to cultivate passion and desire. Ask, ask for it. Ask and you shall receive. Stop complaining and stop speaking words like, oh, we don't have it. Oh, we don't love each other anymore. Oh, we're getting bored. Out of the mouth come blessings or curses. Every word that comes out of your mouth is either a spring of life or a spring of death. We create with words. So every word that you speak generates more of that reality. So if you keep saying, I'm sick and tired, I'm sick and tired, guess what you're going to be? Sick and tired. If you keep saying, oh, she never does this or he always does that, guess what you're always going to create and manifest? That's just part of the fabric of how God created things. He creates with the spoken word. He speaks and then it is. We have to be fierce protectors of the words that come out of our mouth. So effective immediately, stop speaking the things over your marriage, over your spouse that you don't want to see. Speak life over them. Pray, ask, and you shall receive. Ask that God would give you the desire, the eyes, the heart for your spouse. God, give me eyes for her and only her. Let my eyes light up when she walks in the room. Let me see the things about her that I have forgotten. Lord, let me see him the way you see him. Give me the desire in the heart, that an intimate desire and a heart for him. And you know what's funny is when we start praying for things that are in alignment with what God's creation is and God's orders. God created marriage. He created sex. He created us for intimacy, for multiplication. And so he knows part of that is desire and passion. He created us to go and conquer and take dominion over territories and lands and build businesses and expand and enlarge as a couple. Like, that's part of our calling. We're called to go and slay, generational addictions, generational patterns. We're called to be the ones who say enough. It ends with us, and also it starts with us. Something new starts with us. And so, if you are praying for things that are in alignment with God's design, God's purpose, God's heart for marriage, ask and it will be given to you. But I think so many of us are still sitting here praying, God, do something about my spouse, do something about my whatever, my partner. And instead, we need to be praying, do something inside of me. Do something inside of my eyes, my heart. Give me eyes only for him. Give me eyes only for her. Increase my desire for him or her, whatever. Give me fresh ideas. Ask questions to ask my spouse. Like, ask for all the things that I talked about today, and then go and move, knowing that you've received them. I want to wrap by saying this, circling back to where I started. All of these things that we're talking about, passion, desire, excitement, butterflies, novelty, all of the things that light up, excitement, like I said, these are feelings. Feelings are fleeting. They come, they go. They're always moving around. It's like the wind blows and it moves. Love is not a feeling. It's actually not an adjective. It's a noun and it's a verb. So love is a thing. It is an essence. It is a being. It's a sense of being. It's a state that we decide to hold. At the core, love is the very essence of God, right? God is love. Jesus is love. The Holy Spirit is love. So when we are really in this state of love, we are one with the heart and the mind and the essence of God. And now we are tapping into this endless type of affection that cannot be explained. So love is not a feeling. It is a state of being. It's also a verb. We love on others because we are loved. You can't give what you haven't received. Okay, I'm sorry. But if you have not received the love of God, if you have not received the love of the one who knows you intimately, who created you, if you have not allowed him to pour into you and love on you, if you've not spent time in his presence and just felt him wrap his arms around you in love, it's really, really, really hard to be that love, to bring that love, the verb of bringing love, to choosing love when you don't feel like the love and feeling. You can't give what you don't get. So everything starts with you. We hear this, and I'm going to end here. We read this verse all the time at weddings and stuff. It's from 2 Corinthians. Love is patient. Am I patient? Is patience a reflection of who I am? Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. Am I jealous? Am I comparing with my spouse? Am I feeling like one of us has one up on the other? Right? It doesn't boast. It's not proud. We're not doing this pride game like two bulls in a china closet or comparing. We don't envy. We're together. It does not dishonor. Do I honor my spouse or am I waiting? No, they'll get honor when they honor me. That's pride. It's not self-seeking. Love is not self-seeking. It is servitude. It's serving my spouse. It's here to edify my spouse. It's here to pour love into the space. It keeps no record of wrongs. How are we doing with that? Love is patient, kind, not envying, not boasting, not proud, not dishonoring, not self-seeking or keeping record of wrongs. It rejoices with the truth, always protecting, always trusting, always hoping and believing for the promise in the future, always persevering. Love never fails. It endures, right? It endures. It never ceases. And I'll continue. This is from another verse. Love conquers and overwhelms all transgressions. Love covers all transgressions, all mistakes. When there is true love, there is a grace that you're tapping into that is not your own, right? And I'm going to end you with this. Romans 12:10 says, be devoted to one another with brotherly affection. Be devoted. There's a loyalty and a devotion, a heart of devotion. True love, capital L, the heart of God is one of devotion. He is fiercely loyal, right? It's honoring, never lagging behind, right? But serving, constantly rejoicing, steadfast and patient in distress, continually seeking wisdom, guidance, and strength, right? And so as you think about what is love, do I want love? Is it love that I'm after? Maybe it's time to redefine love. Is it time to redefine love? If so, I encourage you to get in the Word of God, see what God has to say about love. And if it's feelings that you're seeking, because we're human and we're designed to have feelings, they're also God given. And if there's certain needs that you have that you need to get met, you're also human. I want to just encourage you that you can generate feelings, and there are ways to get your needs met in healthy ways and communicate those needs to your spouse from a place of love, not a place of anger, frustration, division, that will generate the soil for a great, thriving marriage. You guys, I hope that today was helpful for you. I wanted to unpack it a little bit further, gives you some tactical things that you can do, some reframes to think about, and really to redirect your mind, your heart to that of God, and to remember love is not a feeling. Love is a decision every single day to wake up, to be in, to move from, as you generate the feelings that you desire in your marriage. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe. Make sure that you leave a review. If you can, share this with somebody else. And as always, if you want to go deeper into this work, you want support in your marriage, in your life, you can always reach out to us with the links below and apply for one-on-one coaching or get into our relationship mastery self-paced course. Until next time, here's to loving fiercely and leading courageously.